All right, y'all. We're back another video. We're back another reaction. We're here with a podcast, Beyond the Jersey podcast. Excuse me. From 6 minutes a game, from 6 minutes a game to the nation's best power forward, the Kiki Iriafen's incredible rise. Oh, Kiki! She had a great game yesterday. Speaking of game, USC has a game today at 1:30 Pacific, which is 4:30 on the East Coast, versus UCLA. UCLA. If you lose to USC 3 times in a row this season, UCLA, y'all will be canceled till next fall. You have no excuses to lose to this team 3 times this season. You lost on the road. All right, that's cool. That's one thing. Then USC came in your house, won the Big Ten regular season championship in your house. If you lose this at 1:30, and the game starts at 1:30, probably ends around 3:30, maybe 4. If y'all lose again, oh, that video is gonna be 101. If I see Malia Samuels get out here and look like this, pushing players on the floor, get it to the basket, drawing and ones, UCLA, ooh, that's gonna be one of them ones. This video's gonna be great. Now I'm a little late to this podcast. I'm a little late, but as I say, better late than never. That being said, let's get into it.
Kind of contribute to your confidence. Like it should be you. I had to find myself outside of basketball because it had been my life. Like it had been my everything up until that moment. And when things weren't going the way that I expect them to go, when I wasn't getting as much playing time or not even playing in certain games, I think for me, I had to really reflect on, okay, who is Kiki? I feel like my freshman year, I really had to find myself and find other things that I liked outside of basketball.
Look at Kiki. She got some money. You see how she got the Chanel earrings? Okay. The little cheetah
Everybody,
print.
welcome to
Let
Beyond
me
the.
see.
I wanted to start off with
Oh,
teammate on the podcast today. I wanted to start off with talking about like high school just a little bit with you because when we first came teammates and like I heard you were coming here, I was like, I feel like we were
what's
friends,
this? Cheetah leopard print? That's real leopard.
but it was
Very Nigerian.
like we
You
like knew
know?
each other for years and we
Shout out to
talked for years,
Kiki.
but we never like close. And just want to give like a quick little backstory if you're cool with that. Yeah. So like when I first committed to UCLA, Kiki was still deciding where she was gonna go. And I remember like we were texting like, hey, like
Oh yeah, it's time to recruit.
when UCLA, like
Come to
yeah, come
UCLA.
out UCLA. And I remember when you came here, I looked at those messages. I was like, wait, like we've been cool for so long, but it's like we never were able to like become really close friends because obviously we both went to different schools and stuff like that. But I'm super excited to have you on. I've been trying to get her on since October, but she's finally here. Very but true. Just want to give you a warm welcome and thank you for coming on the podcast. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. Me too. So I say this before every episode, but I feel like it's good to tell. Like, I want to show, like, kind of give you your flowers and just like what you've accomplished up until this point. You have a lot of accolades. You know, you accumulate a lot due to your hard work. But I just want to read a few that like really stand out, so people know like who Kiki is and like how good she is. Okay, so to start off, we have three-time Pac-12 champ. We have 2024 Pac-12 Most Improved Player Award winner. We have 2024 Katrina Award winner, which if y'all don't know, it's like that means she's the best. She was the best power forward in the nation, and still is.
She is. Kiki can dunk. You know how crazy that is? Now, like I said, what was it like 2 days ago? If Kiki Iriafen was just all season,
And she
ooh, y'all would have hated USC.
scored a high of 41 points versus Iowa State last season.
Why would they give Juju a player that can dunk?
And I think
Man,
to
you
me, like
trying to win now.
one of the most
Win
impressive
now
things
means
is
come
that
to
one, you
USC.
graduate from Stanford in 3 years, and two, you got your degree in engineering, which is like super dope, super dope. So just wanted to give you your flowers and how you've had an amazing career and you're going to continue to have an amazing career. So just wanted to say that. But to start off, we're going to talk about the beginning of your college career. So you entered college as one of the top recruits. You were 19th in the country. What were some of the things that you look back to as experience as a freshman that were like a wake up call that you're like, okay, like I'm really in college now, like this is serious?
I think it was just like everybody is a 5-star on your team. Like going to Stanford, we had so many McDonald's All Americans. So, coming in as a freshman, you're like, I'm going to make this impact. And like your whole life, you've been like the star, you've been like the man. So going on a team when everyone has been that, and this team, they had just won a national championship right before I got there, and they returned everybody but one player. So I think as a freshman, I had high hopes, but I was like brought to reality. But when I look back on it, I think it was definitely what I needed, and I learned so much. So I was behind so many great post players, so many great guards, and being coached by a legend in Tara Vanderveer. But I think for me, it was just I had to find myself outside of basketball because it had been my life, like it had been my everything up until that moment. And when things weren't going the way that I expected them to go, when I wasn't getting as much playing time, or not even playing in certain games, I think for me, I had to really reflect on, okay, who is Kiki? I feel like my freshman year, I really had to find myself and find other things that I liked outside of basketball so that I wouldn't be so consumed with how I was playing or if I wasn't playing or anything like that. But I think the biggest wake up call was like basketball is not guaranteed and like there's so many other things to me than basketball.
I want
That's dope. Now, my question was, right? I don't know if there's a Cameron Brink question in here in the podcast,
I,
because if I'm not mistaken, she played with Cameron Brink in her freshman and sophomore year or junior year,
I
all
was
the way
actually
leading
gonna
up to
go
her
next
senior
to
year at
question
USC.
and kind of follow up question. Like, what was the emotions that you experienced when you got your first DMP? Because I know
I can remember the
Oh
moment.
yeah, that first DMP. Why am I not playing? I'm trying to get in the game and get mine.
Get
okay,
the
talk us
game
Why
and
am I not in the game?
feeling. Okay, so my first game that I didn't play in was
I should have
before.
said this in the intro too. We got the behind the scenes of this podcast
Give a preference.
in the recent vlog.
So before this, all the other games, like it's still preseason, so
Dominique
like
vlog.
everyone gets to play. But like I was still playing it really early. It wasn't just like the fourth quarter, like freshmen go in. Like I was playing early. We had close scrimmages. I was playing super well, so I expected to like, okay, this is a big game I'm playing. First half goes by, I don't play. Let me preface this by saying we played Texas, and that was the night that I think the team
Oof.
got their rings for winning the national championship. And Texas actually beat us, so we lost to Texas at home that game. But the first half goes by, I didn't get in, but I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna go in the third quarter. Third quarter goes by, don't get in. I'm like, don't worry, fourth quarter. Baby, it's fourth
You
quarter. We're
just trying to be
losing.
optimistic, like you know what? Maybe they gonna put me in for the game winner. You know what I mean?
There's
Like,
like 30
when I get the game,
seconds left. I'm like, I'm really not playing. Like that's the first time in my life
it's like a mental crash
that I
out.
have never played in a basketball game, and I was very emotional about it. So like I definitely did cry. Like I was kind of frustrated and like angry. Like you feel like you're putting all this in, or like why can't coach just give me a shot? So I think that was really tough for me having to experience that. It was nice that I had like my other freshman teammates. We were kind of all going through the same thing, so we had each other to lean on. But that was like the first moment when it was like, oh shoot. I think for me, it was like there's so much more I can get better at. So you come in thinking you're all this and like you're this good, but I was like I have a lot that I need to work on. So it
It
was
was
it
more
was
like a humbling
it was
moment.
a huge wake up call. It was kind of like it stung a little bit. But I think from there it was just kind of like, okay, let me go in every single day and prove and show my coach why she needs to play me.
I feel like that's a lot of maturity for like a freshman mindset because like I feel like when you're young, you're like, I'm not playing like my coach just hates me,
Yeah.
my coach is hating on me or whatever. And I think for you to have that mindset as a freshman speaks to like the how wise you are and how wise you were at that age because a lot of people won't process that experience that
Yeah,
way.
you know, we hitting the transfer portal with this one.
Um,
I'm not getting the game. I'm out of
I
here.
kind of like kind of want to stay
So
there a
that's
little
good
bit
though. She
and
stuck
talk
it out. Trust the
about
process.
how if
Trust
you
the
were to explain
process.
some to someone like confidence when it comes to especially going in as a freshman being highly touted so highly sought after as a coming in high school recruit and then you're going to a national championship team how quickly is it easy for your confidence to be shaken especially when you're in a new environment you're in a new arena you're with new teammates that are all veterans and experience like how would you explain to someone how quickly like that can shift for someone.
Yeah, definitely. My confidence was tested, shake like rocky roller coaster the whole entire season. And I think, coming in, I think people correlate confidence with like performance. So like if I wasn't playing, I'm like, okay, I'm not good enough, so I don't believe in myself. When that really is not the case. I think a lot of the times it's just like you're just young and you have so much to learn. So it's not that you're not capable, but you have some great people ahead of you. Like I had
Mhm.
Cameron Brink, Fran Beliebe, Ashton Prechtel, like so many great post players ahead of me that I had to learn from.
Believe and believe ye. Oh man, I remember
It was
her.
tough, especially when you feel like in
And she could dunk too.
practice you're
That was a big team.
doing A, B, C, and
Mhm.
D.
Good
And you're like,
lord.
how come I'm not getting any love? I can't even go in for a minute or anything like that.
6-3
I will
plus
say don't
team.
envy coaches because I can only imagine how difficult it is to manage. And we had 17 players on that team.
Oh my
So
gosh,
managing 17
17?
players, only five people can be on the court and
Whoa.
there's only 40 minutes in a game. So I think
17 players? Most of these teams now only playing 8 players.
confidence was really shaky for me. And I
17?
allowed my confidence to be
That's
in the
wild.
hands of my coaches and the outside like
Mhm.
audience and everything like that. And I feel like when you play for the applause, then your confidence is put into how fans or other external people feel about you. So on when you're doing well, like you're gonna feel so great because you hear all of that
Mhm.
praise. But then in moments when you're not and you don't hear that praise, you're like, okay, maybe I'm not as good. So I think that whole season it really fluctuated. Like there's some days I felt like I'm super good, like I got this, and then other days I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know if I want to continue playing basketball. Like
Mm.
maybe I should figure something else out. And I
Yeah.
think even till today, like my confidence is still kind of on this roller coaster. I don't think confidence is ever stagnant. I think there's definitely ways to keep it up there and not really have your confidence in the hands of other people. But I think the biggest takeaway from my freshman year, and some I forgot who told me this, but it was like you should be your own biggest fan. Like don't allow
Mhm.
somebody else to
Mm, be your own biggest fan.
kind of contribute
Forget the critics. Be your own biggest
your
fan.
confidence. Like it should be you.
Who was that person that, like, I know for me, my freshman year, like, I remember the person that I
Mm-hmm.
had. If they weren't there for my freshman year, like, I don't know if I would have got through it. Like,
Yeah.
who was that person for you at Stanford, or maybe your family? Like, who was that person?
Well, definitely my family, but obviously I was away from home. So the person for me was Agnes Eminopu. She's a year above me. And she's great. Like we are best friends. Like the moment she got to Stanford, so like I was there in the summer and I think she came like a month later. And the moment we met each other, like we instantly clicked. And I think honestly, we were kind of going through similar situations. She went through something similar her freshman year. So to have someone above me, but also close in age to kind of like help me through everything was something that was crucial for me. And I think I had a bunch of great leaders, but her and I really developed a strong friendship and a bond. And I would honestly say sisterhood. And I like thinking about it, if I didn't have her, I really don't know what I would do because like I think she helped me find myself in other ways outside of basketball or even just like distract me from that because as I said like basketball was my whole life. So when things weren't going right, I was like I allowed how I performed in basketball to affect my whole entire day.
Mm.
Even though it's just like an hour of me playing a sport, I allowed it to affect the rest of the 23 hours of my day. So I think with her she allowed me to okay, who is Kiki outside of basketball or just like let's do something else, like let's
Yeah.
have fun. But I think in tough times if you have someone to go with you through it, it definitely makes it much easier.
Shout out to Agnes.
Shout out
She helped
Swaggy.
me with the snacks too, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, she
Oh,
did.
I love you, Aggie.
Okay, trying to kind of transitioning into your sophomore year. I did my research
Yeah.
and I just kind of wanted to compare like your freshman numbers and time to your sophomore year, and you averaged 6 points, 3 rebounds, and your time improved like double. So you went from averaging 6 minutes per game to 12 minutes per game. What do you think? Well, first, in that summer, what kept you, or no, sorry, in that summer, what did you do to like stay prepared and ready? But then also to ask you, like, what kept you there? Because a lot of people in their freshman year, they're not seeing any time, even if they're on a good team, they're like, I'm out. Like, what kept you at Stanford, and how did you prepare for the next year to increase, your role and your level of play?
I'm definitely not perfect, so I felt the same way. I was like, I'm done with this. I'm transferring. I don't want to be here anymore. But
Yeah, see, I told you that's how it be like
my
that.
parents are sane, so they were
Be like, you know what? I ain't getting in the game here. It's time to
like,
go.
Kiki, you're just a freshman. Like, look at all the people that were ahead of you. Look who they brought back from winning a national
Right.
championship.
Yeah, they're 17 players.
So it really wasn't anything personal. It's just like how the game
That's more than the NBA roster.
Mm.
So I think my parents were just like, Kiki, like stay with it, try again this year. Like there's more opportunity for you. So I think that going into that summer, I worked out like every day, multiple times a day. I was back here in LA, so I was working out, doing everything that I could. I played against guys all summer just to, try to beef up my efficiency. But then also, I really didn't get game time my freshman year. So to try to replicate that in the summer. So I think, I don't know if my mindset changed as much, but I was just like in the gym constantly 24/7, 24/7. So that when I did go into my sophomore year, I could like, produce what I needed to do.
How did you balance like I know because when you're coming off a year where you feel like you have a lot to prove, how did you balance not kind of feeding into the overwhelming feeling I have to prove something? Because at the end of the day, like you still want to play basketball, you still want to come in to the new season with like a free mentality, but then you also have like a chip on your shoulder. But how did you balance the two, not letting that negative emotion kind of override being able to just show up every day and trust the process of what your next year or your second year would look like?
I honestly don't think I did a good job of that. I think coming in like in the summer, I was like really, pumped to like I'm gonna prove myself. I'm gonna go into practice dominate, and I think I did do that summer. In our preseason games, like even looking at my stats and my numbers, I was able to perform and get double doubles playing alongside other great players. So I knew I was capable of it. And I think we played South Carolina my sophomore year, and I was still playing good minutes. I think I had a decent stat line, but I had made like a crucial mistake, and I called a timeout when we had no timeouts, and then the other team shot technical foul.
You pulled a Chris Webber.
Crucial
Oh,
mistake, and I called a timeout when we had no timeouts, and then the other team shot technical
tragic.
fouls, and I think that really shattered something in me, and I couldn't really recover from that, even like despite
She
like
pulled a
talking
Chris
to
Webber.
different people or like trying my hardest to. I felt like I could never really get over that because that was still in the back of my mind, like how could you let this happen, and in a moment that I thought would be so crucial, like playing well in such a primetime big game, a sold out crowd, like that's what you live for, that's what you work for. And I felt like I'd kind of let myself down because I wasn't able to perform the way that I wanted to. So I feel like and during my sophomore year, that was like a key changing moment for me, but not in the way that I would have liked it to be. It definitely I don't want to say setback, but it definitely messed with my mind a little bit, and I had to like work through that. So I don't think I really did a good job of balancing like those expectations and proving yourself my sophomore year.
You kind of like led into my next question, but I guess to ask, like, would you say that was the hardest conversation you had with yourself or dialogue with yourself was trying to get out of that funk? And like, what were you telling yourself in that moment? And if you could go back, like, what would you have done differently to kind of get yourself out of that? What you said, calling a timeout when you didn't have any more, and that high pressure game, and you feel like this is the moment I've been waiting for, and you feel like you disappointed yourself. How did you get out of that?
It was definitely difficult, but I think my coaches, one of my teammates did a great job. Like I did not want to go to practice the next day. Like I was dreading it because I was like, I feel like I lost the game for my teammates and it was all my fault. But when I got to practice, the first thing that was said, my coaches took ownership. They're like, that's on us. We need to tell you guys how many timeouts that we have left. Like that's not on Kiki. That's not on anybody else. My teammates were like, it's fine. Like we have to all talk about it. But I still inside was like, no, it's my fault. Like they're just saying this. So I will
It
say
felt
for
so
like
defeated.
a program standpoint, they
But that's good that you have a team that has your back no
definitely
matter
did a
what.
good job
Through the good and the bad, the ups and
of
downs.
like it's
And
not
you have a family orientated
on
team
you
that's
and
like it's okay even though
like
you
there's
did sell. But
definitely things that we can improve
it's okay.
on. But I think for me it was so tough because it's like you work so hard, you have that one opportunity and you don't do it. So then for me, it was a lot of self doubt that started to creep in. It was like, see, like you can't do it. You put in all this work and you still weren't able to do it. So it was really like, it took like months, honestly, trying to get out of that mindset and that headspace. And I was honestly just kind of like going through the motions that season, even though I didn't want to, but I was just like, I'm not good enough. Like, I don't want to be here. Like, this is really tough. This is hard. And not that I want to run away from a challenge, but I just really I've never been in that situation. Like, all of my life up until college, like, everything has always worked out for me. Like, I've always played well in games. I've always been ball dominant. I've always had, A, B, C, and D go my way. But college
What's
was
her career high? Kiki Iriafen's career high is 41 points, 2024 NCAA tournament, 16 rebounds, 99 from the free throw line, and 4 assists, and 3 blocks, and a steal. See, I knew she could do it. I always knew that.
the first time, like,
I
I would
already knew this
say I
though.
hit adversity
Did y'all know that though?
in my life. So it was really tough to
And
navigate
she
that
could
having
drop
away
40 with no
from
problem.
family. So it took me a while to kind of get out of that. And would say my sophomore year was probably one of the most challenging times for me mentally. But
And that's crazy too, because you would follow up and have one of the best years like
yeah.
you could ever imagine, which we're gonna get to. But real quick, just one last question about your sophomore year. I want to ask you, did you ever, like, I mean, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but did you ever resent that process? And was it like, oh my gosh, like, why am I going through this right now?
Mhm.
Like, this absolutely sucks. And you put all this work in the summer. You're like, why is this even happening to me? Like, did you ever at some point resent like the work that you had to put in, what you're going through?
Definitely, like in the moment I was like, why, like why me, like it doesn't matter anything I do, like it doesn't work. Like why does this have to happen to me? But I think every year that I've grown up and learned more about myself, I always appreciate the year before me. So
Mm.
my freshman year I was like, why me? I hated it. And then my sophomore year I was like, I'm so grateful that I went through that because I learned A, B, C, and D. My sophomore year I was like, why me? Like nothing is going right. I'm a starter, but I don't feel like I'm getting starter minutes. And then my junior year, I'm like, I'm so grateful that I went through that because I needed that to have this season. So I think every year, like definitely in the present, it doesn't feel the best, but I think there's so much that I'm learning from it. And I really wouldn't be in the position that I am today if I did not go through those tough times.
That's the true definition of trust the process.
I'm really excited because Kiki, when we talk and we have our conversation. I'm like, I need to get you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because I feel like your story, because we're about to get into like the peak of years of your college career, and like as you continue to like go up, I always say like your story is like the story that needs to be told. I feel like people see Kiki now and the top draft picked and all these awards and accolades, but they don't know like the story behind like
How
you
she
did
got
not
here.
want to play basketball at some point. Like you were like, I'm done with this. Even though you were starting and you said you weren't playing starter minutes and all that, like a lot of people just gave up. No one, a lot of people wouldn't have had the year that you had, which again we're about to get into, which I want to talk about because I just feel like you deserve for your story to be told, and I'm just grateful that you're open and transparent about that because I promise you, there's so many people that are going to be like, if Kiki can do it, I can do it. And I just want to tell you that because you
Thanks,
deserve that.
Dami.
You're welcome. Okay, so I would, to start off for your junior year, was there a specific game, practice, or even a conversation that you had before entering your junior year where like, okay, this is my year, or I'm prepared or I'm ready compared to your sophomore year, kind of the uncertainty of like trying to prove yourself, but now you're like, okay, I'm a little more established and I know what to expect. So is there a game, practice, or a conversation that you had that kind of prepared you for your junior year?
I mean, there was a lot of conversations that happened. Like my coaches talked to me like, Kiki, like, this is your year, you got this. But I was like, coaches are gonna say that to everybody. So I think for me, I was like,
True.
okay, it's my third year in college. I need to make something shake or else it's not looking good. So I was like, I don't want to just be a role player. Like there's definitely so much opportunity coming into this next season. So I was like, it's now or never really. So I think going into that summer, I was like, same thing. I was in the gym constantly, working out multiple times a day, but then also like prioritizing my mind and like if I needed to be off social media or like just be with my family or like away from certain things that were distractions, like I was very like bought into what my goal was. And I couldn't even imagine how my junior season turned out. Like I didn't expect anything like how it was, but I think for me it was just like I wanted to put myself in the best position to succeed, to be successful. So I think it was really just like getting my mind right because everything I was doing in terms of like a basketball standpoint was what I've been doing for the past X amount of years. But I think I was just more intentional with my workouts because I feel like my mind and my body finally correlated with each other.
What did you like mentally? What did you exactly do, especially like outside of your workouts? Was there any like self talk or anything that you had, or even meeting with someone that helped you figure out that that was like the missing piece for you? But then also like, what were like the tactical things and steps that you made to make sure that your mental and your mind and your body were in the same alignment?
Yeah, I always say this, but I think for me, basketball is like 90% mental, 10% physical. So it was really getting the mindset part right because whatever I tell myself is really how I'm going to perform. So for me, like I have one of my old high school coaches. Her name is Coach Millie. She's been in my life forever and she's always someone that's like always pouring into me and filling up my cup. But that summer we were always talking. I was working out with her, so while I'm working out I'm hearing that positive reinforcement or just like that encouragement. So I kind of kept that with me and just talking about different things that were going on in my mind. But then also with Stanford they have so many great sports psychologists, so I really prioritized that summer like I'm going to go in, I'm going to talk to sports psych. And not even because anything is wrong. Like, I don't think it always has to be something is wrong, but I was like, I want to equip myself with the tools so that when I am met with tough moments, I know what to do, or I know how I'm speaking to myself when things aren't going the way that I expect them to. So
Mm-hmm.
meeting with sports like that summer was super great for me, super beneficial, and I feel like it really put me on a trajectory to have confidence that I've never had before,
Mm-hmm.
and which ultimately helped me have the season that I did have my junior year.
When did you start to realize that like that mental work was starting to pay off? It did pay off, but
Mm-hmm.
like when was like that when we were like, oh my gosh, this actually worked? Like
Mm-hmm.
me working on my mental, my body, and my mind all together. Like this stuff actually like it's a good thing, you know. At what moment and what's if there's a game or moment that it clicked for you?
I think two moments. I think in the summer, like I was just like being very dominant and I was like, I'm the best player here. Even if I really wasn't, I was like, I'm the best player and kind of just having that mindset when before I might doubt it and be like, I don't know. So I think in the summer, like when we first got there, I could kind of feel like, okay, it's a little bit something's different. I could tell something's different with my mind. And then I would say we played Indiana early in the preseason, and
Mm-hmm.
I think we were like ranked like 20 something or like not as high as we typically are. Like Stanford, we're always in the top five at least.
Yeah.
And we were in the top five. So we kind of had a chip on our shoulder, but
Right.
Indiana
Y'all
was
felt
legit higher
disrespected.
than us. And like we felt like it was disrespectful because they expected
Yeah,
Indiana to
see, they're
beat us.
like, we
But
top five, 21st, top 20, 25.
by X amount of points.
Oh no, now we gonna have to get that belt out on these
So that
teams.
game, we ended up beating Indiana by, I want to say 20, and they're ranked way higher than us. And I think the way that I approached that game, my mindset coming into that game, I didn't care that they were ranked above us. They had an All American post player who was going to guard me. I was going to have to guard. I didn't care. And I think my mindset, that's when I really understood like how powerful my mind is. Like I came into that game like I'm the
The
best
mind is a very powerful thing.
player. And like I
Whatever
proved
you tell yourself in your mind is what's gonna happen in
that I
reality.
was. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that was really the catalyst for me.
I
So
mean,
she
you've
said, "This girl can't guard me. Give me the ball."
always had
They
national
gave her the ball. She went to
attention,
work.
right? Coming out of high school, but your junior year was like unreal.
Yeah.
You know, like unreal. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
remember
that's her career highs. Came from her junior year. She dropped 40, 40 and 16.
I actually remember watching. I remember watching it because I think I was at UC. I don't remember where I was. I used to USC, but I remember just watching the games and like seeing week after week like your performances, and I'm like, yo,
Yeah, we need her. Yeah, we need her on the team next season. I don't care what you got to do. Put her in the USC jersey next
I
season,
remember just.
and look how it
I mean,
happened.
even in that moment, I remember like the year prior that you had, and just saying like, wow, like she really like stepped up her game, and I think like it just gave me confidence too because I'm like, wow, like if she could do that, like I could do it too. And I just thought that was so dope that you were able to find like you look like a totally different person. Like you didn't like you look like a totally different person. You could just tell by the way you're performing and things like that. But I would say like in your junior year, did you? Because I know before you're saying like. Or freshman year, you saying you came into basketball being everything, and then you kind of like had a
Yeah.
wake up call, and then now like basketball is working out again. It's like how did you feel about basketball starting to become your future? I know you don't like to look at the mock drafts, but I'm pretty sure you were as you continue to kill throughout the season, you start to see your name pop up in different websites or just like
Mm-hmm.
articles or whatever. How did that? What kind of emotions did you feel when you started seeing that? Was it kind of like a full circle moment? Was it kind of like I'm grateful or a
Mm-hmm.
gratitude moment because of what you went through your past
Hard
two
work
years?
paid
Like
off.
what? Yeah, what were some of like emotions that were provoked as you continued to get national attention and recognition?
Definitely. So I will say the first time I ever saw myself on a mock draft was my sophomore year. And I was actually surprised. I'm like, they're even talking about me in the draft and I'm like playing like 2 minutes and I'm not even scoring. So I was like, whoa, this is super cool. I think I was like second round, something pick or whatever, but I was like, wow, this is cool. But I was like, I don't, the way things are looking, I don't know how. And it's really hard to make a team in the W and to
Mm-hmm.
stay on a roster. So it's like, I don't really know
Mm.
how promising this is looking. I'm going to use my engineering degree and be like every Stanford student, stay in San Francisco, do something in tech or something. So that's really what I had my mind set on. Maybe I'd play overseas for a little bit, but I was like, after my 4 years, I'm gonna start my life, have a job.
That's crazy.
So like my
And
junior
now,
year,
this spring, you'll be a Golden State Valkyrie.
talking about me a little bit more, and I
Starting
was like,
this spring,
no way, like what the
put on that Valkyrie uniform.
heck? Like there's no
God's gonna be good.
there's what is going on? And because I had already kind of dismissed it the year before,
Mm-hmm.
I think even now I'm still in shock to be like mentioned in certain, numbers, and it doesn't feel real to me because I'm like there's like the way that my life has changed and done a 180 from my sophomore to my junior year, but even my junior to my senior year, it's actually insane to me. So I think sometimes I'm like still like in awe and trying to grasp what my life has become. But I think, seeing my name in contention for certain things, I'm like, wow, okay, you know what? Just keep working, keep working. I really try not to get too caught up in the numbers because I don't want to be complacent with anything. So I think, now seeing my name in certain things, I just like, I know little Kiki like coming into college is like,
Be so happy.
there's no way. And I know she's super happy. And I think sometimes I try to remember that and use that as my perspective when maybe I'm not having the best time or maybe I'm not playing as well as I would like to. I'm like, look how far you've come. And I think a lot of the times, like, we don't really, you know, acknowledge the present and like, see what we have because the way I'm living right now, the way that my life is, the way that basketball is going, this is what I dreamed of when I was a freshman. But you always want more. Like once you get it, you want more, you want more. So I feel like that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, yes, it's nice, but there's so much more. I have so much untapped potential that I can, get into. But just to be in contention, to be on certain drafts, to be in certain rounds, I think it's such a blessing.
Yeah. What were like when you got Most Improved Player of the Year award, and then you got the Katrina award. You were the award winner. Like what? Well, talk me through like when you saw that you received the award. How did you find out? And then what were like the emotions that you felt when you found out that you were the winner of those awards?
With Most Improved, I was like, thank you, but respectfully, I didn't think I was Most Improved. I think I just got an opportunity and a greater opportunity than I ever had, and I capitalized on it. So I really wasn't doing anything differently. I just became more efficient. So definitely, I guess you'd say improved. But I don't know if I would say I was the most improved, but I'm definitely grateful for that award and just to be recognized as well. And then Katrina McLean Award, I was actually on a Zoom call with Coach Tara and then Katrina McLean, and that's how they announced to me that you were the award winner. And I think it was like right before the national championship game, like maybe 2 days before then when they were announcing all the awards. But I was like, no way. I was like, there's no way. Like I literally was like, I don't know what to say. Like, wow, like you're being recognized as the best player in your position. And there were so many great players named in the finalists as well. So when I got chosen, I was like, wow, like your hard work has paid off. Like look how far you've come. And I think I was just honestly overcome with so much emotion and like not that you've made it, but like, okay, you're
Like,
kind of you're getting there. You're getting there.
Yeah, little Kiki would have been so proud just going from like playing 6 minutes of games. Like
I went from playing 6 minutes to winning awards.
I
God is good.
still think that's so
God is
crazy.
great.
I like no, like for
How could you not appreciate?
real, like when you really think about it, like 6 minutes to winning the award for the best player in your position.
Yeah.
That's like a rags to riches story.
And I think something that was
Like
super tough my
Wow.
freshman year was like things like that. Like
6 minutes to
coming out of
winning
high school,
awards.
like you're one of the best players, and then you play like certain teams, and you're like, I'm better than this girl. Like I can play, but like they get to play. But I think honestly, like being at Stanford, my 3 years, my first 3 years was the best thing for me. Like I got to learn from like the GOAT, like the legendary coach and Coach Vanderveer, and then to learn and be behind and play with so many great players who are playing professionally and being successful professionally, I think was honestly the best thing for me. And I don't know if maybe if I was a freshman and started and got to play 40 minutes and do whatever, I don't know if I would be the same player that I am today and if I would have grown and learned as much as I have.
Yeah, no, definitely. So you decided to transfer from Stanford after 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm grateful you came to USC. But for most people, you were like you finished the year junior, amazing. A lot of people would be scared to make that decision to go to a new environment. So for you, like what made you decide to come to USC, and what has been some of the highlights and hurdles that you faced being
That's
able
a
to
good
switch to a new
question.
environment, new team, new coaching staff for you?
What made you want to come here out of all the teams that you could have picked?
This decision was very scary for me. Like I've never felt not pressure, but so much like I was so anxious and I couldn't sleep. I had to put my phone on D&D for like literally like 3 days straight. Like I couldn't talk to anybody.
Mm,
And it was such a hard decision because it's like, okay, there's people graduating. You're going to be a senior. Like everything is going to be handed to you. Like you have the keys to the kingdom. That's what people always told me. You have the keys to the kingdom. Like you can do whatever you want. It's your program, A, B, C, and D. Like the list goes on. But I really reflected on our last game when we lost to NC State. And I was like, I really want to win a national championship. Like I really do. And my freshman year, we made it all the way to the Final Four. And so, like, I feel like
you
when you
win
taste it
now.
already,
Going to USC, we won it
Yeah,
now.
you won it
you want
again.
to get back there. So I was like, I really want to win a national championship. And not to say that I wouldn't done it as at Stanford. I think when there's a will, there's a way. But I was just like, it's my last year. I'm ready to graduate. and I've had all this success, and the people that have helped me get here aren't really able to see it. And that was my family and everybody that has helped me, being in LA and raising me. So I think it was like this idea of like being able to come home, and there's two great
Yeah, coming home.
programs in LA that I could potentially go to. So for me, it was a very tough decision. Like when I tell you I was tossing and turning, I had to pray on this. Like it was very, very
That's good
hard.
though.
And it's hard to leave something that you're comfortable with. Like I kind of know what would happen my last year, and going into the uncertainty in the transfer portal was very scary. But I think, ultimately I was like, I want to be home with my family, and I want them to see me in my last year and have my professors come to the games, my old coaches, like all these people. Like every single night I meet somebody new, or I see somebody new that I haven't seen in years. So I think that's like the most special thing for me.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
too,
to have your support system there at your games is really
yeah,
big
we
for
talk about
athletes.
this a lot, like family and just having your support system. Like no matter what happens,
Yeah.
good game, bad game, like
Yes.
your family's always running, always in the stands. Like I see them right behind the bench, always waving at
Yes.
your mom and your dad, your sister. They're always there, looking
And
fly.
they
And
all look just
I think
alike.
like that just it
They
just
all have
makes
the same
talking about
face.
just having your family
Like,
there.
yeah,
And I
they're
talk,
definitely
I
related.
imagine how it is for you being away for 3 years and finally
I
getting
seen
to.
them at the last time USC played UCLA. They put them on the TV.
Like
Yes.
Like, yeah, they all look
be on
just
every
alike.
single game, be on
Yes.
every trip, and I can imagine how important that is for you. Um, Next question. What was I gonna say? Okay, yeah. So now, we as a team now have the ability to like win Big Ten, win national championship, and everything like that. Very cool. What do you think we have to do, or what do you think you have to do moving forward to lead this team to those great accomplishments?
Consistent. I think I just need to be consistent.
Consistency. So I've been saying this all season long. 20 and 10 every game consistently. Along, of course, you're going to see Juju get her 25 and Kennedy get her 10, 3 and D wing, and Kaylee Heckle doing her thing, and Ryan and Brookie, everybody doing their part. But the consistency of Kiki Iriafen getting 20 and 10,
Not get
and a
too
couple blocks here and there,
high, not get too low, not allow any outside
and emotionally too.
noise to
Stay locked in, no fouls.
affect, how I
You can't stop
play or
her.
how I perform, or, just not allowing anything to change who I am. I'm someone that plays with like a lot of joy and personality. I mean, I'm like very goofy. And I think I play my best when I'm buying into that, as opposed to like being angry or being sad. So I think for me, it's after we had our senior night, everything has been put into perspective that these are like the last,
This
the
is the
last,
last
the
days.
last. And after we play on Saturday, it's really like win or go home. So
Yeah.
I think for me, I don't want to have any
Facts. Every game is a game 7, so
regrets.
you
I
gotta
want to
lock
leave
in.
everything on the table. So I think just consistently giving my best effort and leaving everything on the floor is what I need to do. And I think, if I show up every single day and do what I need to do, I can already count on my teammates. I can count on all of you guys to do the same. So I think if we all kind of do that, like we'll definitely reach our goals.
What would a conference and national championship mean to you?
Everything. Like this is my dream.
Everything. I'm part of history. I get to tell my kids, like, man, back in my day, I got me an NCAA
And I
championship.
think it would just be like every single thing
That's an
that I've
amazing
had to go
feeling, man.
through, the tough
Pretty
things of
dope.
this year as well. Like it was all worth it, and it was all to get to this moment. So I think it would mean so much. I think you know I've I've seen other people. I've had teammates that have all been able to say I'm a national champion, but I've never been able to say
Facts.
that. So being able to have that in your senior year, I feel like nothing is better. Like that's the perfect script to
Being able
your
to
college
win.
season.
Yeah.
Right?
Getting like the
Went from 6. You gotta understand, going from 6 minutes to being the best power forward to winning a national championship in your last season. Nah, you can't make a better story than that.
the highest achievement that you could possibly get in college,
Exactly.
because you've
Exactly.
gotten everything else. So it's like you just need like the cherry on top of the natty.
Yes.
Okay, here we are. What, a couple months away from you go transitioning into your next step of life, and that's the WNBA. How does that make you feel, especially considering like your journey here from playing 6 minutes, some DNPs, to now being talked about as one of the top picks in the draft? And also add on to that two questions in
Yeah.
one. What does that mean to you for your family as well?
I feel every emotion you can think of. I'm excited, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm ecstatic, I'm in awe. Like there's so many emotions, but I think I'm ready for the challenge. Like I'm ready to be challenged every single day to go up against the best players in the world and kind of have to earn my respect. I think there's kind of like something that I
Listen,
thrive.
you ain't got nothing to be worried about because you either going to the Sparks or you coming to the Valkyries.
Off
So you gonna stay in California
have to
regardless.
kind of prove yourself.
Unless you just start dropping 50, then you might go to Dallas.
Thrive
But
on having
who
to
knows?
prove myself. So
You're
I think
definitely top five.
just come in and just really learn. I want to be a sponge, learn from all the great vets in front of me and kind of, do whatever I can to take my game to the next level, but then also make myself like a household name. And then with my family, it's crazy because so I'm Nigerian, as you know, but like it's school first. So like they really like
Absolutely.
basketball school. Like, yay, you're
They do not play about that
you
education.
love basketball, you're good at it, that's great.
Get your degree.
But the fact that you graduated in 3 years in engineering, that's what they love. Like, so they're always talking about it. My grandparents, like, I've kind of told them, like, oh, my job after is gonna be like playing basketball, and they're like, no, it's not.
Yeah, like
They're
that's cool and
intentional
all.
about this. So I think my grandparents, like, they're very supportive, but they're still like, you can do that for like a job, like that. What is that? And then of course my parents are just super happy. They just want me to be happy. So whatever that is, they're gonna be super supportive. But my family is definitely a school first, athletic second.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
respect
definitely, it's student athlete.
that though, because they're like, "What? Okay, you had a great game, but
You can play basketball as a job. You get paid for that.
what'd you get on that test?"
Right.
You always did this for free. You actually get money for
They
this.
don't care. Um, as a kind of wrap up, when you look at your journey and all the situations that you have been in, with ups and downs, trials and tribulations, how has your experience from basketball shaped you for life?
I feel like basketball is honestly one of the greatest tools to one learning about yourself, but acquiring so many skills in life. So like teamwork, time management, and those kind of like basic skills that everyone talks about. But I think for me, like having to perform even though there's adversity or perform even though there might be something else going on in my life, but I have to show up every single day for my teammates and kind of be the same person. So I feel like honestly I've learned the most through basketball during the tough times as opposed to like the good times. So I think now when I look back on my journey, like I'm very grateful for all of those tough times because they have made me into who I am. Like I've learned how to stand up for myself, stand up for my teammates. I've learned how to receive criticism, receive feedback, and kind of having to navigate different dynamics in a team and just position myself to work in different dynamics. But I think ultimately basketball has revealed so much of who I am and who I want to become, and honestly don't know where I would be without basketball.
What would you tell like a younger player that just got to college, maybe experiencing some DMPs or just kind of having a similar journey that you have had, especially early on in your college career? What's some advice that you would give them?
I would say honestly be your biggest fan. So I think, just not allowing your confidence to be in the hands of anybody else. Like regardless of your situation, I feel like you can still be confident in it and it might not look the way that you want it to, but I think it's all about shifting your perspective. So not that I'm not good enough to play, but maybe I'm not ready yet. I have everything that I need is inside of me. It's just about how can I unlock it. So I think the biggest thing is just shifting your perspective when you're going through different types of adversity.
Yeah, that's dope. That's smart. Okay, so now kind of transitioning to like the last like kind of fun questions to lighten up the mood a little bit. These are getting to know the real you questions.
Oh gosh.
So,
Mm,
so I'm gonna ask you
hot seat.
several interesting questions.
Hot seat
I'm gonna
questions.
ask you several interesting questions, and you have to answer the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Cool with that?
Okay.
Okay. All right. What's the most embarrassing thing you've done in pursuit of personal growth?
That's
You gotta answer that in one word.
Interesting questions, and you have to answer the first thing that comes to your mind.
Oh, the first thing that comes to mind. Okay, I was going to say.
All right. What's the most embarrassing thing you've done in pursuit of personal growth?
You can't answer that.
I feel like that's such a loaded question. You said lighthearted. I don't know. I don't know. What would you answer if I flipped it back to you?
Like saying affirmations, I would say.
I don't think that's
I would say like,
embarrassing though.
well, no, like saying it out loud and like telling myself like I'm the best.
I
Even
think it's more so like talking to yourself. I know some people view that as like embarrassing. Like, ooh, why are you talking to yourself?
like
But some people need that
you know
because
what I'm saying?
that's how they
Okay.
That's
concentrate.
something like that's something like that's like kind of corny, but it's
Yeah.
like it's helping you
Yeah.
become like
Yeah. Okay. It's kind of along the same lines, but in sophomore year, like I struggled with confidence, not even just like on the court, but like in life.
Mhm.
So I used to write on my mirror, "I'm enough. I am beautiful." Like I would
That's
write it on my
cute.
mirror, and like I would like look at it, and I would like take selfies like every day. I'd be like, "I am enough. I'm beautiful." Selfie. And like every single time I like looked in the mirror, I saw that,
Mhm.
and I would say I feel like it helped because I definitely think about myself in a much greater light now than I
Yeah.
did before.
For sure. Okay, if you could have dinner with any fictional character, who would it be, and what life lesson would you hope you learn from them?
Fictional character. Hmm.
Don't
Okay.
ask me. Don't ask me.
Okay, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
ask you. I'm not gonna ask you, and I know I'm supposed to answer these fast. Fictional character. Okay, my favorite show is Scandal, so I'm gonna say Olivia Pope because I just think she's like badass.
Mhm.
Life lesson. I think she just runs everything
Yes,
like it's
she's
like
the
this,
best.
like whatever she wants, like it gets done. So
Yeah.
yeah, Olivia Pope.
Okay. What self-care ritual makes you feel like you're living your best life, even if it's silly?
Face mask. Like I put on those like Korean collagen face masks.
Your little eye, like
Put
your
my little eye patches, all
on.
of that. Like I'm very bougie when it comes to that. Like I love skincare, so I'd say like a face mask.
I thought this one was the funniest because when I was like doing it and I read it, I was like, "This is gonna be a funny answer."
Oh gosh.
What What would be your superhero name, and and what totally mundane problem would you solve?
Superhero name would probably be like Super K or something like corny like that.
Super K.
Super K. And then something that I would fix.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Super K.
I don't know. These are hard. You're like this is not easy. Something that I would fix. Can I flip it back? Let me flip it to you.
No.
No, 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 no. See, no, no, no. You
I'm
can't do
interviewing
that.
you. You're not
Okay,
interviewing
like
me.
people like walking slow, but then would
Make
I just
them-
be like super speed then? So then I don't have to fix them?
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
Because I really don't, I won't say hate, I really don't like slow walkers.
Mhm.
Like I hate that.
Yeah, and slow drivers too.
Slow
Slow
walkers.
drivers as well. Yeah.
I know she can't stand slow drivers.
Okay, if you could choose one goal to achieve before the end of your life, what would it be?
That's a great question. One goal. I want to take care of my parents. I want to retire them. So retire my parents.
Fire, fire,
Yes.
fire, fire.
If
W
your life had
Kiki.
a theme song, this is the last question. If your life had a theme song, what would it be and why?
Theme song. Oh gosh, this is so hard because I don't like to, I don't like to pick favorites of anything. So
And she tells every teammate.
Okay, not too much. Theme song. Oh my gosh, I can't think of one, but I feel like something that's upbeat and like carefree and like you. Actually, I lie. I'm gonna say, what's that song? I don't know who it's by. I think Cindy something, but girls just want to have fun.
Girl, just want to have fun. That one?
Yeah, that one.
That'd
I
be-
can like remember
Okay,
hearing it.
why would it be your theme song?
Okay, I can remember hearing it like in the car with my mom going to school as like a little girl. My mom would always sing it, and I'm like, okay, my mom's singing it, let me sing it too. But like, I just want to have fun in my life, but like good, respectable fun. But I would
Right.
say that, or I'm gonna say like "Happy" by Pharrell. Like I just want to be happy. So
I like
Wanna be happy.
those are some good songs.
thanks.
Well, Kiki, that concludes.
Is that a throwback song now?
Your episode. I just want to thank you again for finally making time in your schedule to have me on here. Guys,
Yeah, all right, that's too much.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I'm going to expose it a little bit, guys. Since October, it was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I got you. November,
All the way till March?
another month go by. Hey, Kiki.
So October we were in Paris.
Like Kiki!
So it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
Beyond the Jersey?
Okay, that's fine.
November season just started. Not gonna happen. December we were in Connecticut. Christmas time. Not gonna happen.
Guys, I'm literally asking her every month, and she's
Like Kiki! BTJ. Behind the Jersey. Today?
She never said no.
She never said no. She never said no. It's just
Never said no, it just never was the right time to ask.
which is fine.
To get it done.
Time because we got a studio and all that. It's like all nice and stuff like that. So perfect. But want to thank you again for coming on. Really appreciate you. I think again, I'm just gonna keep saying it, your story is amazing, and I know that people hearing this.
She's had my career, a 2K my career storyline from 6 minutes to sometimes not getting in the game to being the nation's best power forward to possibly winning the national championship this year and being a top 5 pick.
where they're going to be inspired
I
by
only dream of that.
you, and they're going to feel like, if Kiki can do it, I can 100% do it. And you have a
Trendsetter.
testimony, and I want you to continue to use your platform and your voice to share that, because what you went through is not easy, and you have the ability to share it and inspire so many people. So little girls especially. So
thank you so much.
Kiki.
Thank you for allowing me to share my story.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Okay, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share this podcast.
Amazing podcast. Amazing episode. But that being said, that is the end of this video. Emails out of nowhere. Anyways, that is the end of this video. Again, 1:30, 4:30 Eastern Time. We got part 3 of UCLA versus USC. Once again, UCLA, if you lose to this team for the 3rd time this season, UCLA, y'all will be canceled till next fall. If y'all get done like this, man, I'm telling you now, they get did like this, that honestly caught me off guard. I didn't know Malia Samuels could do that. So if she does this today, UCLA, y'all gonna be in trouble. With that being said, that's the end of this one. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you do subscribe, it's greatly appreciated. Go ahead and get Dominique to 1K. Stop playing. I know y'all love the vlogs, but go ahead and show love to Beyond the Jersey podcast. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video, man.